Dr. Sani has been the specialist in breast surgeon to the Embassy of United States of America in New Delhi and was the lead consultant for breast services at the Artemis Hospital Institute in Gurgaon. He is currently senior consultant and head of department for breast surgery at Dr. B.L. Kapoor Memorial Hospital, New Delhi, and senior consultant breast surgeon at Indraprastha Apollo Hospital. Having been part of the various trials at an international level, Dr. Sani is often invited to speak at both national and worldwide scientific conferences. He is also under the board of directors of European and Asian Society of Nationalology, heading the South Asian office as president till 2016. I would also like to call upon Mr. S. Pradeep Kumar, Managing Director of Nova Comtech, Bangalore, an electronics graduate with over 12 years of experience leading 3 different organizations in the field of electronic and security equipment. Have started a training and placing people in surveillance of technology and implementation. So welcome all 3 of you. As I mentioned earlier to everyone, that this is one of the most important issues that all the association, be it non-for-profit, professional or trade associations are facing, and every second day we are asked the same question, that how do we raise fund, what is in it for them, how to tell that story. And companies and the funders are also divided now among so many conferences and associations, so they find it really difficult to see where they should put their money. So educate us. Mr. Krishnan is going to make a presentation, and I have had the privilege of working with him in 2011, and I can tell you he is master of his subject. So in fact, I have always told him that he is absolutely championed that sponsorship issues, which I want him to share with you. Thank you, Mr. Krishnan. I just click the forward.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Prashant has given me a very flattering introduction. I don't think I deserve all of that, but I would like to share a little bit of the experiences that I've had. It comes from 2 conferences, not much, but they were reasonably, at least on the sponsoring side, successful. Without much ado, I would like to go into a small presentation, and what we have done was to look at branding the event. Who is the target audience who is the target market for the sponsorship? Who is going to sponsor us? In both cases, these were events related to the forging industry, which basically we are related to the automotive industry largely. We make parts that go into automotive cars, trucks, etc. So we have, before we launched the event, we looked at the target sponsorship market, and therefore we decided to look at assigning levels of sponsorship. So not everyone comes in with the same kitty, not everyone comes in with the same experience and the will and the willingness to display their wares, what they expect from the conference. So basically we looked at dividing them between platinum, gold, silver and exhibitor. Just numbers, just names. You could look at peacock, whatever. It can be structured in any different manner. And we assigned benefits to each level of sponsorship and a sponsorship amount also for each level. So basically positioning the companies in such a way that there are clear guys who are going to underwrite a good chunk of the event costs, and a few others who will be joining us at the exhibitor level, marketing small organizations. They were also given In fact, we even divided up some stalls between 2 or 3 exhibitors at the last minute because these guys didn't have the wherewithal to pay up a couple of lakhs for an exhibitor stall. So we said, doesn't matter, you guys can share your resources together. So ultimately it is about reaching out to whom we thought would participate and would sponsor the event. We performed a detailed study and discussion of all costs with our event manager in both cases. I would say right from the pen that you give to the delegate and to the presidential suite that your top sponsor or your cream delegate is going to take, I think you should discuss all these with the event manager. Prashant may not like me for saying this, but it's a fact. There is money on the table. And if you work it out in a proactive manner with the event manager, I think that the association can earn out of all the expenses that you would incur. Some are costs and some are sources of income. You have to go into the detail. For example, even on food and beverages, we found that on several occasions, hotels were overcounting. Those in the hospitality industry, don't shoot me. But these add up to the bill, and ultimately an association, as I hold it, is a public body and is accountable to the public at large for the deployment of its earnings. So it should be fair and square. For example, on entertainment, we had in both events significant foreign audience, and therefore we didn't count on big ticket Indian presence to provide the entertainment. The entertainment was decent, was good, structured, but not big ticket, because big ticket is damn expensive. So if you're going to catch your sponsors all to pay just the entertainer, I think you should look 3 times into that aspect. So basically it involves a lot of hard work and going through all the costs associated with the event, planning everything in advance, and it's very important that you go through these things early, because you have time to plan and effect and implement what you intend within budget. The other thing that we sought was, what value do we give sponsors? First thing, our target sponsors in both events were equipment manufacturers and suppliers to the global forging industry, who all want to have a presence in India. I'm sure that if you have a medical conference, you'll have thousands of these guys, or any other electrical, IEEE. There's always a supplier industry. What is it that these guys want? First, they would all want participation in the conference. So we went from region to region and we managed the participation from each stage. We appointed one member of the managing committee to look after this participation from each region, and it was his responsibility to drum up support for the event. So right from Bangalore to Ludhiana, we went canvassing for the event. So in both these events, it so transpired that 2008 and 2011, not many people have visited our industry partners, members in the Punjab belt, particularly Ludhiana and Jalandhar, where there are lots of small forging companies, small to medium size, who want to have access to what is going on in the world. And the sponsors want to exactly address that market. So there is a need of information interchange that we try to address. So ultimately provide a value to all participants without compromise. We provided a good selection of technical papers and ran an exhibition concurrent with the conference. So each sponsor had an exhibition space pro rata to the amount of sponsorship and the level of sponsorship. Ultimately, the rule of this thing was basically branding the event to both the sponsor and to the delegate. One thumb rule that we followed in both cases was the delegate fees should cover the delegate cost. Sponsorship and additional income should go to the association's kitty. One last word that I'd like to leave is, nobody remembers what you've charged them, but will remember the corners that you've cut or the excellence that you've delivered. It makes a big difference. So don't bother. People are willing to pay in this world, and for no organization today, a couple of thousand rupees is going to make a killing difference. If it were a killing difference, he won't be in business in any case. So you could call them with a reasonable expectation and position the entire event from the beginning to the end and give value to all the stakeholders, from the sponsor to the event manager to the delegate. One thing that would help us achieve all this is to organize a good team that is prepared to work hard and earn money for the association and use the earned money to promote association activities. So ultimately, if you ask me, do I have a single mantra for all this? No. The only way out that I see is hard work, go through the details, plan in advance, execute reasonably with the event manager. I'm sure that the event will be a grand success. Thank you very much.
You talked about event sponsorship, and we are faced with time and again is that how to position, how to tell that story, how to bring value on board, and that can only happen when we reach out to this. You talked about road journey on this. But apart from that sponsorship of event-centric, there are sponsorship required by the association on an ongoing process. And I know, Dr. Sahni, you have been involved into several other things. It's not just event-centric, but as an association, as a cause, you need sponsorship to deliver. So what is that you have been doing, if you could share with us?
Thank you, Prashant. It's, in medicine, it's a fallacy to say that the medical industry, which is large, it's huge, everybody just dips into that. And as time has gone by, more and more associations have come up, and the pot hasn't increased in size that much, but just the number of hands that have gone into that pot has increased. So as a result, people are coming out with less and less, and being more frustrated by that. So what we've done in the past in the various organizations that I've involved in and currently involved in is try to think out of the box and go and partner with like-minded people who may not even be doing anything medical. So for example, I'm letting the cat out of the bag a little early here, but we're doing a big European and Asian Breast Cancer Congress in November next year. And the way we've raised money for it so far is that we've got the conference cost covered through one fundraiser that we're doing. And that's got nothing to do with tapping the medical industry so far at all. So what we've done is we've gone to art, we've gone to fashion, and we've gone to hospitality, and organized a fundraiser where the costs are limited, but our takings in are much more. What we've also done, which I find not many people doing so far, maybe a little bit, is joining hands with other people who are working for a cause. So for example, we've got partners in Mumbai, we've got partners in Kolkata. The one in Mumbai is doing work in healthcare, but the one in Kolkata is completely different. But the promise is that everyone needs a guest list, everybody needs a list that they can tap into. And it very often happens that I have 3 friends who are sitting here, 2 of them are already giving CSR or giving money to a cause, and they just look at me and say, Doc, I wish I could give to your charity, but it's becoming very embarrassing. So if I give them 2 or 3 other credible causes to donate to in the same, on the same platform, you find a lot more sponsors coming in. So it's about mixing and matching to be able to survive, because you have a limited pool of people who are willing to give money on a continuous basis for you to be able to run an organization. But if you pair yourself up with like-minded people and are very happy to split the profit with them, then I think sustainability is a key. One mega event can only raise an X amount of money. It can't sustain the organization. And I think the other thing that you have to do, which people before us have made it very easy, is the content of your organization has to be very, very important. And easy access to people. When I talk about the organization that I'm currently involved in, it was started by the gentleman who invented breast conserving surgery. So suddenly, women who, whether they had a 1 millimeter breast cancer or whether they had a 10 centimeter breast cancer, they would all have to have their breasts removed. So no one really bothered going for a checkup. This is a man who almost single-handedly changed the paradigm of how women looked at themselves and how the medical profession looked at them. So now women actually want to go and get themselves screened. Maybe not as much as we'd still like them to. And so getting easy access to him is a huge important advantage to young upcoming professionals. So the way to engage people is giving access to somebody who they have to pay. It's much easier for them to pay 3,000 rupees, come to a conference in India and get access to these greats. This is just one person, than to, you know, pay 50,000 rupees and get a ticket, and then with the dollar at 65 and climbing God knows how much more. So, you know, it's that, and the content of what you do has to be there. And the chicken and egg situation, yes, your basic professional content must be there, and a roadmap worked out before you start an organization and an association. Because it's much easier when you go to a corporate, they want to know what they're giving their money to and how you're going to spend it. We all think, oh, they're very, very stingy, they don't give their money. But let's look at it in the private sector. If you're a banker and you come to me asking me to invest in a policy, I'll be calling you 15 times a day if the market moves up and down by 2 points. So if you're giving me 50 lakh of rupees over a 3-year period, it's my duty to audit or present that audit to you. So if you're transparent in your work, I don't think you won't get 1 crore of rupees or 5 crores up front, but if you have a good track record, then getting sponsorship will become easier. So transparency is paramount because that's what people are scared of, because they don't know if they give the money, what it's going into.
Absolutely, well said. And that's, I know most of us here, sitting here on the other side or agency side also, when we work for organization or organization approaching themselves, these are the biggest challenge they have, how to tell that story. And whether you have that transparency. I was told by some of the PSU, and now that you have to spend that CSR budget. So where did the money go? And they have not been able to spend that money. In fact, last CAG report says, some of the people, those who are really doing genuine work from PSU side also, a few of them, they said that there's not much, right proposal comes to us. We are not interested in sponsoring conference where you do it in a 5-star hotel, giving lunch and dinner and entertainment. But if you are able to tell the story in a proper way, that through this conference you are not only engaging, but conference is not the only one, but you already started engaging much prior to the conference to bring on all those people. And then during the conference, how you are engaging them, if the story are told, they are bound to get money. And now with the Supreme Court rule, now they have to spend this money. I believe they were wrapped up now last month. So coming back to that, Mr. Krishnan, I want to ask you, of course, we talked about sponsorship, general, platinum and other things, which are usual. What are the other novel, I know that Sani mentioned that thinking out of box, don't look into, restrict yourself inside your subject only, go beyond where you can. Is there anything that novel that you have done, your association, which generated money? I know I closely observed your conference where 2 months prior to the conference you were relaxing because you had all the money in the bank or what is required. But there are associations here also, not because they want to, but they also get stressed because they don't do the homework earlier, and the last moment they want to get fund and the funds are not there. So if you could share with them some of the novel ideas.
I think the whole thing is about planning. Yeah. As Sani said, you would not know the exact route that you're going to take up front, but once you walk along the journey, vistas and avenues open up for you as you move on. So first thing is start early. That I would say is paramount. Once you start early, then you're not hurried, you have so many options in front of you. Prepare a budget, at least, however wrong it might be, but at least something to start with, and target a particular amount or an audience. And with that, I think as we walk along the road, we get to see so many things opening out for us. That is very important. And as he said, to look at unconventional sources like fundraising events, etc., tying up with the fashion industry. So those are opportunities that open up only when you're there in the ballpark. If you're outside, there's no scope of any of this. And you have to be there early enough for you to have the relaxation to think and generate the ideas upfront.
Absolutely.
So, for example, we for these two events, we were not so imaginative, but we looked at it this way, that we would have one or two top sponsors. Okay, and basically the concept was that the delegate fees would cover a good portion of the costs per delegate, at least when you pooled domestic and international together.
But that's the challenge with a lot of association. I know.
No, but
they
people are
cannot
willing to
charge
pay.
a high
When you
fee.
go abroad, you're willing to pay $600,000-$700,000 for an event. Why wouldn't you pay 7,000, 8,000, 10,000 rupees in India?
What is the reason that they don't want to pay? Is it that content was poor in India, or we have just have the mindset that still in 3,000
Maybe they do not
rupees we
know
can-
what value they are going to get out of the conference, which has to be presented. Look, one shot across 2 days, you bring your technical team of 2 people. In our case, for example, you bring them to an event, you make them attend the technical presentations. Over just 2 days, your team is exposed to the best in the world. And a similar proposition was proposed by Dr. Sani also. Over that day or 2 days, the person is exposed to the best that's available. Isn't that a significant buying proposal? So the delegate is attracted to attend the conference because it gives him value, him or her. And the sponsor therefore sees the mass, and as earlier sessions were also saying, that in India we have the mass, we have the numbers. So use the numbers game to our advantage.
So I'm going to ask audience here. I know all of you are in some extent involved into sponsorship generation, not only for conference but others also. How many of you actually we write it down, that investment versus return of the sponsor? Okay. I know we all do a docket, but do we actually write it down and convince them? How many people have done it? Can we have some? Sir, if you, the lady there, if you could mention. Ma'am, identify yourself, please. The mic is there in your table. It's here. Okay. Yeah, please. Go ahead. No, the mic is there.
Okay. So this is Jayoti Lahiri, Secretary General of PRCAI, that stands for Public Relations Consultants Association of India. We recently had an award ceremony for PR in association with Holmes Report of London, and we had a lot of problem raising sponsorship. That is one. We eventually had to persuade a couple of our members to be, we initially had platinum, gold and silver sponsor. That was the plan. And we had drawn up documents with specific deliverables which did not convince the sponsors. Eventually we reduced it to principal sponsor and associate sponsor. By that, we had those 2 sponsors. And the expense was huge, and that was not enough to cover that expense. However, we made that up with our delegate fees, which it was a complete sold-out event, and also advertising fee. We had published a PR bulletin, and we sold spaces for 25,000, 15,000, 10,000. We made some money. And for the entries which went to London at the rate of $1,500 per entry, we have also earned something. But I would like to say that we always arrange an annual summit every year, and I find it impossible to raise funds. But mind you, as you say, that we have to work hard. We take almost 3-4 months to plan, and then put down what we are going to give, what the sponsors are going to get in return of the money that we are investing. Even then, we don't get our sponsors. Can somebody help?
Maybe best is yet to come.
I don't know.
And I'm surprised you're from the Public Relations Society, so I'm worried. If you are
Yes,
not able to
we
do,
should be. We
So
have
help us God.
all the PR agencies of India as members.
but you have a pact.
May I
venue,
make a
you
suggestion?
said.
Yeah.
Please.
Maybe the span of 1 year between two conferences is too short. Could you try something once every 2 years or once every 3 years? So that it brings in value. See, as we've been hearing, the world where we are overloaded with information, as it is. So maybe once a year is too short a time to network. It's too short a time to...
Involving of the associations, it's,
Yep.
the subject
You see,
depends on the medical, like you could do it 6 months.
I'm
depending
just
on
making
the-
a suggestion. I'm just making a suggestion.
Yeah, the suggestion is good, but however, the only source of income for our association is the summit money and the membership renewal fees.
My this thing would be, I'm not saying you should lose out on that, but what you make over a triannual or a biannual conference should be more than adequate for you to carry on over the next few years.
We can
So,
try that. We
The
can-
lady there, please identify. No, ma'am, yes, you.
I'm again Dr. Poonam here from AIMS. I have done some 17 conferences in the last 15 years, and problems are there. And as Dr. Sani, my colleague from Apollo, pointed out, the problems are there are too many conferences happening, at least in the medical field. And when you do too many conferences, you should be very careful how to do one mega event and neutralize it with one or two smaller events which are local. Instead of having one New Delhi or Bombay or Chennai as the main annual center for an annual conference, it's better for the state branches at the local level to hold a conference. I think that sorts out the problem. And do your homework well. There's a very good thing that both of them said, and Prashant also said. I think if you begin early, your problem is solved. There is a very nice way to get more sponsors. For us in the medical fraternity, make it academic. You were gone. So all that money you give back to your association and give a complimentary copy. There are a lot of innovative ways, as he pointed out, as you go along, I think ways open up and you learn. But if you start your sponsorship early, and if you have people contributing in academics, you will have a win-win situation.
Thank you, Dr. Malhotra. Yes, please identify yourself.
I hope I am audible.
Yes, sir.
There is only one suggestion from my side. I think what she has said, start early. The thing is that since from last 22 years or 24 years, we have been organizing workshop, conferences, professional, students, academic. But the thing is, I have normally what we do, she said start early. So not for poor year, he said like have gap in the things. So one thing is there, each year if you have the event, you have to build a reputation. Start early means normally what I do. One trick in it is like this year, I have a sponsors with me. I know that I need 10 lakh rupees or 20 lakh rupees. I get that. And normally after that, I identify the future sponsors and involve them in this year's event only. So I'm marketing for my next year's event this year and I'm telling them what value you can get from it.
Excellent.
And that is the success I have seen. That is
Very
the
good.
only one thing from my side. Thank you.
So, gentlemen, there. Anybody? Yes, ma'am. Please identify yourself.
I am President Trade Nurses Association of India, TNAI. We conduct conferences every year, but what we do is we rotate the conferences in different states. So we get sponsorship and we do it.
Sponsorship, I think, should not be related only with the conference. We are talking about holistic sponsorship to the association. How do you engage them? Yes, sir. You want to?
My name is Sampath. I am also the Indian Institute of Engineering. Well, for 17 CEO conference we held. It started in 1998 at Fort Blair, followed it in Kathmandu and various other places, including Ramoji City. One of the issues is how to make it a business with pleasure. We are really extended to the family members also, with the family. Of course, when the CEOs come, they would like to be away from their what is called rum-drum activity every day. Therefore, what I would fully endorse what Mr. Krishna said, you make it also attractive. Make it a little more attractive in the sense, allow the spouses also to come along with the children. Please choose a place which is really very attractive, and that is really possible to get sponsorship. It has been done. 17 conferences have been held. Last was held in Amritsar. I mean, we have held it in different places, Mussoorie, name any place, Nainital, Kodaikanal, and other places, where you choose the right theme also. It should be attractive enough for the current theme, and also deliberate, make it free, business with pleasure. That is the thing which is one of the essential ingredients for really getting sponsorship. Second point is, now that CSR has been now extended to all the corporate what is called body, about 8,000 companies are earning profit, more than 5 crores. Now it has become mandatory. Rajya Sabha has also passed. It has become a law. Now guidelines are being issued now. What can be done is these federation associations can really identify, also develop certain criteria for purpose of whether the money given by the corporate sector goes to right place and right way it is expended. Therefore, certain number of criteria also to be evolved. Maybe the Federation of Associations can think about those things, and certainly the Ernst & Young has already done a very good what is called study on that. This is my view.
Thank you, sir. Point well taken. I'm going to come back to a gentleman here to talk about your corporate exposure. Of course, you come from a background where you sponsor. So I'm sure, I hope you are safe after you leave this panel. You're going to get a lot of association. What do you look at when you sponsor? Doesn't matter small or big. What do you look at?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I represent Nova Connectech from Bangalore. We are basically into security equipments. We have been dealing with security equipments, and we are in this industry for last 8 to 10 years. To be precise, we look at the best return on investment. Mainly the kind of investment what we do. We simply treat it as investment. Sponsorship in the other way for us is barter system or one-stop shop where we can find many customers at one place. Many times it's happened so that we have sponsored a lot of exhibitions. We have even exhibited our products. But what's happened is there are a lot of participants coming in there, visitors coming in there, but we don't have return on investment. That is just because we have 80% of participants who deal with the same kind of products, and the inquiries are totally split across. So I request mainly all the event managers to look into the kind of exhibitors or the participants you call in or the sponsors you call in, so that you can give them the right return on investment, so that you can get more and more. And mainly people always target on a big companies. I basically belong to a medium-sized company, and here actually the main advertising or the various medium of approach should be given to small-scale industries or medium-scale industries, where they in today's market, to advertise in newspaper or television, it's really painful. So something like this, where in case if you are getting the right return on investment, I think even smallest of the companies would be coming forward to participate in such events and sponsor irrespective of what kind of event it is.
Thank you, Pradeep. I think, so the point brings down to the investment, return on investment. So it cannot be looked as a sponsorship. We must be able to tell that story that their investments are secure and we are getting benefit. I'm going to come back to Dr. Saini. I know there are a couple of very, very novel way that you have raised fund and wanting to raise fund. Now, what you also mentioned about Vidyasankar mentioned about registration fee should pay the conference. Is it really a possible situation in India?
If you average it out at least between international and domestic or local participation, you should be able to cover a good portion of your, not good, all of your fees. I think the 2 conferences we ran paid for themselves on the delegate fee itself. All
What
the
about
sponsorship
Dr.
money was
You're from
surplus to the
medical.
association.
In the medical side, things work a little differently. First of all, I think if you give anybody anything free, no one values it. All right, so you're already disseminating a lot of knowledge through a conference. There are 2 aspects to it, if I can just take 2 minutes. One is a conference sponsorship, and the other is sponsorship of the association to have it running for perpetuity. So in a conference, when you have delegates, people are prepared to pay. In the medical world, what happens is 50% of the delegates are paid for. Very often by people who are sponsoring you from the industry. Part of the contract that they take from you is to get 12 or 15 or 10 or 5 depending on what they're doing. But if your content is good, if your medical program, the knowledge that you want to impart is good, people will pay. I think Dr. Raghuram is sitting here and he held a very nice course. Was it a year or 2 years ago, Raghu? A year ago, where he had the experts in breast pathology and radiology come down from various parts of the world, and there was a course registration fees which was higher than what anybody else had seen in the country till then, but people paid and he had a full house. So if you provide the content, people will pay. Of course, if you are not going to provide the content, and if you just put up a list of 15 speakers and one turns up, then not only will you not get sponsorship, but you will never get sponsorship in the future. So you must be prepared for that. The second thing is, when you talk about the delegate fee, I think the delegate fee should be charged. When you talk about sponsorship of an association, I've heard this as a running theme: revenue, revenue, revenue. Can you run a company without revenue? You can't. You have to run it like a company. You have to invest enough time. The only difference is, in a company you can take out the dividend and share it among the shareholders. Here you can't. You have to plow it back into your objectives. So the first thing is, when you make an association, make your objectives wide enough and broad enough to be able to think laterally. Because you suddenly find you've got 5 fantastic ideas, or people have got in the board, or members have got ideas, but in your list of objectives you cannot do that. And in the Societies Act or the Trust Act is very stringent, and if you go out of that, you will not be able to do it. So if you have a very broad based list of objectives, you will be able to encompass all these activities into the fold. So one of the things that we're doing, the reason we've been able to raise sponsorship through completely unrelated areas, is because we've given and we've promoted advocacy. We've taken it out of the hands of doctors and given it to people who are women, especially, who are leaders in their own field, who are doing the art, who are doing the fashion industry, who are in the corporate world, and told them to run that sector of the organization. So these are people who have already made it in their spheres, and it's now their job to continually raise funds. So we are not bothered about the perpetual existence of our society. And I think that's one of the things that you must look at, because doing one successful conference or 2 successful conferences doesn't mean that you're managing to run the society on a day-to-day basis and being able to disseminate the right sort of information.
I think the same thing holds good at an association level also. I think the association, whatever it charges its members, should be able to sustain the activities of the association on an ongoing basis. The association cannot solely depend upon conferences for its survival. So if a conference should pay for itself, then an association also, by way of its activities, should be able to pay for itself, which means ultimately you have to deliver value.
So time to go back to the board, I think, and in the GV meeting to ratify all those things. Thank you, panelists, and really appreciate your presence here. And hope, one thing I must say, that out of 15, all the 15 speakers turned up in this case, and they really contributed well. And of course, we are running short. Thank you so much, all of you, the panelists, for sharing.